Okay, so our next lesson now we're going to learn our major scale. So I know that sounds kind of boring, like an old granny teacher kind of thing, but this is seriously the most foundational thing you're going to learn in music. Everything in music is based on this. Every chord we play is made up of parts of this scale and variations of it. Every song that we do is in a particular key that comes back to this major scale. So this is a real need to know thing. So stick with this and make sure you get this. Otherwise you'll end up like a lot of guys, years down the track having to come back and learn this when you realize there's a bunch of stuff you don't know. If you haven't done our other lessons, jump over to groundbreakcreative.com. It's all free. It's still YouTube videos. It just gives our lessons all in order. So that they make sense and they're structured, So anyway, we're going to start with an A major scale. So the good thing for guitars is we get to learn a pattern, and we just put it wherever we want to make the different major scales. So we're going to start with learning the A major scale, and then we're simply going to move it around. Okay, so I'm just going to do a once through scale to start with, because that's the foundation that you need to know. A lot of lessons will show you a twice through scale, but you're just playing the same notes twice. I want you to get this once through scale, because it's a great reference as we get further down the tracks and you're finding degrees of the scale and that sort of thing. It makes it a lot less confusing. So in our last video we did all the other exercise to cover all the strings and moving up the neck and all that sort of thing. That's the reason other guys often teach the twice through scale, because you use more of the strings and more of the guitar neck. Okay, so a major scale has spacings of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So on a guitar neck, a semitone would be from one fret to the next. A tone would be twice of that. Okay, so we're going to start on our A here, which of course you know where it is because you've done our previous lessons and you have learnt where all the notes are on your guitar neck, which is an important step. So 5th fret here on our low E string, and we're going to go a tone. Okay, if we came up a tone again, we would come to a C sharp here, but we're actually going to play that here at the 4th fret on our A string. And then semitone, tone, tone again. We come back to our 4th fret now on our D string, and then tone, semitone to finish. Okay? So those are the same note, the 1 and the 8, because there's 8 steps in the scale, hence the word octave, are the same note. So we number these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So to look at that pattern, these inside ones, the 4 and the 7, swap places. So in that first run through there, your semitone goes first, and then in the second one, it goes at the end. So tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So you always finish with a semitone. Okay? So those numbers become our scale degrees. So now, if we're in A and somebody says, what's the 5th of A? Now you know how to find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is an E note. Okay, so the 5th of A is an E. Or what's the 3rd? 1, 2, 3. It's our C sharp. Okay, when we start getting into 7s, things get a little bit more complicated just because there's different kinds of 7s. So our 7 there, if we're talking about a 7 chord, so if we were playing A7, we would actually play that note, okay, which is actually the 7. We just call that a flat 7 or a dominant 7. That's the 7 we're going to use in our minor scale in our next lesson. Okay, but our main thing now is just learning that pattern. And once you've got that, then run it back down. So go up and down. And then we're going to play 2 on each one, so down and up. Okay, so there's a couple of things to play around there, but the main thing I want you to get in your head is that pattern. Okay, because then what we're going to do, once you've got that locked in, we're going to move it. So let's say we want a G major scale. We're just going to start from the G. Sorry. Gets confusing sometimes looking at the picture in there. Okay, so what we can also do is we can bring this down onto our 5th string or our A string and play notes from there. So if we want an E major scale, I can play from this note here. Okay, and that pattern is always going to work on the neck as long as we're not playing this B string. Okay, and that's just the way the strings relate to each other. That B string there is a little bit different. It's set out a semitone from the others. That's why when we tune we go. Okay, it's just that relationship there is a semitone out, so we're going to move stuff around. So as long as we don't use that B string, this pattern stays the same, whichever you want. C sharp major, C major, what else have we got? E flat. Okay, whichever note you want, F sharp. Okay, you just play it wherever. And this is a great reference to have right through into the future when you start talking about keys and you're working out what key a song is in and that sort of thing. Just having this reference, even once you get this sorted, you don't need the guitar anymore. You can just do it in your head. But when I'm working out the key of a song, I'm actually picturing a guitar neck in my head, working out, oh yeah, that's the 5th, that's the 6th, that's the 4, working out what those notes are. So stick at this, go over it and make sure you get it before we move on.